let's talk some Dolphins, man. Talking Dolphins. Tua made the NFL top 100, man. That's a rod. Tua came in at number 91. So, question for you: too high or too low? How do you feel about him making the list? So let's start with there, and then you can go ahead and answer that question.
Herbie, despite how I feel about how Tua individually played in the games he played, I think he was too high. I think when you consider the fact that, like, yeah, like, okay, I actually have it here, right? I was gonna compare. So the previous top 100, the year before, when Tyreek was number one, I have the list of Dolphins that made it, and there was quite a few. Some of these guys were in transition, but for the most part, the Dolphins had quite a few players in the 2023 list, right? So you had Tyreek at number one. You had Jalen Ramsey at 25. You had Tua, who made 36, which that was about right. You had at the time we had Christian Wilkins 58, Raheem Mostert 60, Bradley Chubb 62, Waddle 63, Poyer in between the Bills and Dolphins was 65, and then you had Armstead at 67. And Herbie, that made sense. I think Tua making the top 100 last year is more of, I look at the top 100 and it's weird, Herbie, because you would think that when the guys who play the game, the players, like when the guys who play the game, you would think you would feel more credibility about their opinions on the game. But things like the Pro Bowl and now this top 100 list, at times, Herbie, to me, it seems more like kind of a popularity contest. Like what it tells me is that Tua is a lot more liked amongst players than he is amongst fans. Like, look, True is like Tua 91. Like, please, you know what I mean? And like, I'll be honest, Herbie, I think Tua shouldn't have made that list. Like, for what purpose did he make that list for, Herbie? Like, I don't know what quarterbacks they have on this list. It makes me think that they have a ton of quarterbacks on this list. Maybe there are 15 or 16 or 17 quarterbacks on this list. I don't know. And maybe they just didn't want to rank him out. But considering he missed a third of the season, the Dolphins were an under 500 team, and he statistically didn't have that great of a year, right? He had a run that was really, really nice, and then he got exposed against the Texans. So at the end of the day, Herbie, I think 91 was too high. I don't think Tua should have made the list at all. I think they should have left that. They should have made that list for someone who might have missed a game or two. But a guy who missed a third of the season, nah, man. Maybe they put him at 91 because they were just like, the Dolphins were so putrid without him that they said, man, he got to be one of the best 100 players. Because when Tua didn't play, Herbie, we were a god awful watch. So
Okay.
I think that's the reason.
So that leads me to my next question. Since you answered that, right? We don't even got to dwell on it too much. There's two parts of this conversation. One, do you think there are going to be other players that are going to make the top 100 aside from Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill is a given, even though he didn't have a great year either. I think he's going to end up in the 30s or 40s this year. Yeah, it's popularity pick.
Same with Ramsey.
Who do you think is going to make the list that play for the Dolphins?
So, actually, funny. I'm gonna give you two things, Herbie. I'll give you who I think will make the list, the list that's coming out this summer, and then I'll give you who I think coming into the year might make the list the following year, like who might actually have a good season, right?
Okay, yeah, perfect. That's dope. That's dope.
So Tyreek Hill is out the question, but I think it's possible, and maybe it won't happen. This is just my personal pick. I would love to see Zach Sealer make the list. I think Zach Sealer is one of the most underrated defensive linemen in the NFL. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Dolphin fan. Like, if you watch him play, like, bro, I mean, you think about it, a guy as a D tackle, right? He gave you, you know what I'm saying? He had a forced fumble last year. He had 28 solo tackles. He's a D tackle, but he had 10 sacks. Sack Sealer, Herbie, 10 sacks. I think he is one of the more underrated guys in the team. I would love to see. They're already on the 80, so I don't know how high they'll really have him. But I think Zach Sealer should have been. I would have rather seen him at 91 than Tua, if I'm being honest with you, right? I'll also say Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith, definitely, Herbie. He definitely deserved to make this list, right? Because he was definitely one of the best Dolphins last year. When you consider the fact, 88 receptions, almost 900 yards, 10 yards per reception. He had 8 touchdowns. I think Jonnu Smith will make this list. Oh, Irving just pull up somebody that I didn't even think about because he wasn't on the team. Irving said Calais Campbell. I would love to see him make the list. I don't think they're already 80 players in, so I don't know if he'll make the list at this point. But Calais Campbell was a monster for us last year. So I would love to see him make the list. And the last Dolphin I really had outside of Waddle, I think they'll put Waddle on the list. I think Waddle will be somewhat of a popularity pick. But I also say Jordan Brooks, linebacker. Actually, he had a pretty good season for us last year. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Jordan Brooks was in the 60s and 70s. But for the most part, Herbie, I don't really think any other players will make the list outside of these guys. And the guys that, we expect to make it, like Tyreek and Ramsey. Oh, and just to throw it out there for y'all, who I'm hoping could at least make the NFL top
Okay.
100 next year. Let's go with Devon A. Chan.
Okay.
I think Devon A. Chan can make it next year. I think Waddle could be a legitimate top 100 pick last year. I mean, this season coming up. I think that
Jalen Waddle is Jaden Waddle is objectively a top 100 player, regardless. He has
yeah,
that type of talent for sure.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
top
injury
100.
aside, he should make the list
You know,
every single season.
if Zach Sealer doesn't make the list this season, I would like him to make the list this following season. I think Chop Robinson, I think he has an opportunity to make the list this year coming up. I think Minka will probably be a popularity pick at worst with this season coming up, and I think Tua will make the list. I think if Tua can remain healthy, Herbie, he'll be considered a top 100 player because the last
Yeah,
time
so Tua, and I think Tua was 83 last year. He was 36. He was either 36 or
he
34,
was
and then this
36,
year,
yeah, the year before
yeah,
that.
and then this year he was 91. So Tua always made the list, right? It's funny that you said that because we were supposed to play a game, because there is some rumors about T.J. Watt potentially being traded. The Steelers are not trading T.J. Watt to the Dolphins, right? But it's a fun exercise, bro. It's the summer. Who cares, right? We need the content. However, I pulled up that Dolphins roster to pick names like who you would trade one for one, body for body, a one for one swap, and Rod. This 2025 Miami Dolphins roster, man, this
It's
it's
rough,
rough, man. It's rough.
right?
I looked at the names, bruv. Who would trade who would trade Devon A. Chan for TJ Watt straight up? Nobody. Like you would, bruh. Madden would just completely just shut off if you try to do that. The game will explode. Like Jalen Waddle, not happening. And that's the good players, dog. Now we got to go to Darren Waller. Dude, that dude is high. That dude is still probably on some Percocets. Who gonna trade you?
That man is gonna walk in the training camp rapping, bro. He's gonna just be he blasted.
I
Dude,
mean, look at the names, bro. Kenneth Grant, he's a rookie, so we have no idea, bro. Zach Sealer, Jalen Phillips, who's always hurt. Bradley Chubb, who's been a disappointment. Storm Duck. Rod, you're gonna have to tell me who Storm Duck is, man. Like, who is that?
a young DB, Herbie, a young cornerback, man. Who actually
Oh my,
he was okay. He was okay considering his draft position.
Cater Kohu, whoo, Rod. It
Man.
ain't even worth playing the game, bro. It's not even. It's not even worth playing the game, man. All right, man, Rod. I want you to react to this comment from the homie Irvin, man. Rod, I think it's fair that you think Zach Sealer should have made the list over Tua since he's the one that is more underpaid in the top defensive tackles. He's had back-to-back 10-sack seasons, and he's a good run defender, man. So,
Oh no, hey Irving, I'm with you. Zach Sealer is one of my favorite players on the team, in particular because one, he's legitimately a very good player, and two, you know what I'm saying? He's actually one of the few leaders the Dolphins have in their locker room. Obviously he needs some other guys to really kind of help him out, but like when you see him talk and when you hear other players talk about him, like what I mean, Zach Sealer is definitely one of the more respected guys in the Dolphins locker room, and I hope they pay the guy, man. Like we have all the players that I tend to like about the Dolphins, all the players that tend to be my favorite players, they end up letting them go, right? They let go of Andrew Van Ginkel. That was my guy, bro.
that was
AVG is
nasty work,
my
man.
guy.
To see him become a
Oh,
superstar with the Vikings, man, that
bro,
was nasty,
bro,
man.
Herbie, he was a playmaker for us, dog. He was ready to
That
break
was
out for us,
nasty. Yeah, that was
right?
nasty
You
work,
have
man.
Christian Wilkins, who was another guy. Ah, Pedro,
Man,
Pedro.
shout out to Dro, man. Dro.
Hey, Hey, Joe, he did make the top one. I don't know how he made the list, bro. Like, out of all the Dolphins that could have made it, I don't know how Tua made the list. Like, he didn't even play the full season.
See, that's ultimately the issue with the top 100, and this is why. Listen, players play on the field; they know who's dope. However, a lot of the times, players are only focused on who they played that season and who's in a division. So when players are the ones who are voting, there's a lot of guys that they don't know, they didn't play, and they don't have the name recognition that could carry that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people who might play the Dolphins once every 2 years, and Zach Zeeler might have had a bad game the day they played him. They're gonna remember. They were like, that dude wasn't all that. But
Right.
people in the AFC East who play him twice a year be like, no, he's one of the dudes. So it's never gonna be a perfect science. I think brand recognition and it being a popularity contest, it's weighed too heavily. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, athletes are dick riders, man. Like, let's just keep it a beam, man. They some dick riders, man. They gonna vote for their friends and they gonna vote for people they know. So we might not see Zach Zeeler on this at all, right? Like, look at all the years Dexter Lawrence wasn't making the top 100 when Dexter Lawrence was balling. You
Right.
feel me? It took him to get to that point where people had actual conversations, and that's just how it goes, bro. So